All right, and we're back. Um, with the
Oh, good. Not barking.
with with the fear of big skins out of our minds, we once again set back on our course to go retrieve the fallen lantern. Very exciting, and if you guys would like to make a perception roll for me as you guys get out well into the lake at this point.
Straight perception.
Investigation.
This will still be crappy. Oh, okay. Apparently, I'm very attuned right now, and apparently so. Jesus.
Almost as attuned as I am.
Yeah, you guys are looking for like sea monsters now. Your eyes are wide open. So as you guys are going into the sea, everybody's kind of busy doing their thing. Mr. Ryota's like charting a course through some rocks that you guys are about to enter into in a little bit. But you guys are kind of, keeping your eyes out on things. You notice something kind of peculiar. As you guys look up, you're pretty sure that the shores of the lake, which are kind of far out by this point, but you're pretty confident at this point. They seem to be higher than your position right now. It would,
Very strange.
yeah, it would seem that.
Wait, what? The shores of the lake are higher than our position?
Yeah, it looks.
Basically, we're below sea level.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You're like, Chris, all shores are higher than the water. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Technically, the shore itself is at the same level.
Yeah. Well, where you guys are, you're below where the water line of a lake should be.
Hiroshi would probably point this out to the captain and ask if that's normal. He's never been this far from a coastline before.
I do not think so.
Yeah, Ryota's like, he calls over the boat owner and he's like, "Is this lake very strange?" And the boat owner's like, "No, never seen this before." And Ryota's like, "Oh my goodness!" So he like gets out his sex sticks and he's like charting things, and he's like, "What the? This doesn't. What? It looks like we're like heading down in a at an angle." Basically is what he's. I could draw this, I assume. 1 second, give me a chance.
My brain's already concocting an idea of what's happening. And I have to find a certain explain SKCD.
There you guys go. So if you look at the bottom of the map, there's a handy little drawing shown for you. So that's basically what the captain explains towards you. However, if that was the case, the water of the lake would like be flowing down at an angle, obviously, and the gravity of your situation would be that you guys were being pulled down towards the direction you're heading, but that doesn't seem to be the case. You guys are like being pulled down to like you know, from what you guys would be considered beneath you, so your gravity's like unaffected by like you guys heading at like a weird angle down a slope, basically.
And I don't see any like whirlpool or anything like that around, do I?
No, because
Or hear one?
everything looks completely flat to you from where you are. Like to you, it seems like you're just traveling flat along along the lake, and it's not until you like look at the shore that you notice that you're heading down.
And we're certain that it's not like a trick of the eye or anything.
Yeah, the Ryota like does some calculations on stuff, and that's how he's able to figure it out.
Have you seen something like this before?
Well, you said whatever we're looking for is supernatural, and I think this all but confirms it. Are you two prepared to deal with whatever it is that we're heading towards?
Presumably, but there may be danger associated. There may have been things within it.
Well, I believe we're still capable of returning if you guys feel that's the course.
We are prepared. We are prepared. Are your men armed?
Well, they're peasants, so they're not allowed to be armed. Unless you mean Kama, in which case, yes, they are.
Very well.
Alright, excellent. Then forward we go, and forward you guys do go. He asks that for the next little bit that you guys remain above shore, because you guys are heading through... if you guys look ahead, you guys see several like rocks jutting out of the middle of the lake. If you guys could stay up here to help out for a little bit, we're gonna be threading through some rocks for a little bit, so I want to make sure everybody's prepared just in case something goes wrong. I've been through closer scrapes, but the night's kind of putting me on edge, if you guys know what I mean. And you guys are like, yeah, okay. So he says,
I'm not sure of what use I could be, but I shall stay on deck.
As will I, though in many ways I am less capable than any of you.
Well, sometimes just having the bodies is good enough. And he points over at the rocks that you guys are heading towards, and he says, fun history fact that was created by a while ago, the Master of Earth and the Master of Water had a duel on this lake, and their combat changed the landscape. So this is some unnatural shoals that we're going through. Luckily, my map has the way charted through, so I don't think it should be that big of a problem. And why would anything that the GM's putting this much build up into be a problem? I don't see what the issue is. Storytelling. So you guys are like, yeah, okay. Everything else about this lake seems kind of unnatural, so why not the shoals be too? So you guys are just keeping your like ears out for any sound of wood scraping horribly against rocks. Luckily, the Rokugani ships are flat bottomed, so they can sail pretty shallow, so running into rocks isn't that big of an issue, but when they jet out of the water, it certainly is. So as you guys are being of use, keeping things ready, you hear
Oh, that's not a good sound.
And the ship suddenly like lurches as it feels like you've hit into one of those rocks. As the ship like juts to the left. I don't know if that's starboard or stern.
Starboard, I believe, yeah.
Starboard.
It would be port for the opposite direction.
Port, that's right.
Port is left, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Goes
Because
port.
they both have 4 letters.
Oh, I will remember that forever now. Yeah, so the boat lurches to the port and kind of Tokyo drifts a little bit. So it's like moving forward by its like tail. Suddenly, and you hear the masts up above creak, and then there's like a loud snapping sound, and one of the ropes that's tying the mast down swings across the ship, and the son of the boat owner is like tying some stuff down, and he turns around. You see him get pegged in the face with the rope, and it knocks him off. It knocks him off the side of the boat, and he like plunges into the water as Ryota like tries to grabs a hold of the rudder and tries to right the ship as the ship like shudders.
I'm gonna go in after him.
Yes, good. And currently with the mast disabled, the ship with no like way to right itself, it's kind of heading straight towards a collection of rocks. So I heard Sai say that he wanted to go overboard. So
Yeah, I mean this is probably a suicide mission, but I think that's what Sai would do. So
sweet. Describe your heroic action, Mr. Sai.
I mean, I imagine like as soon as I see him start falling, I start like instinctively start running, thinking maybe he's going to like hit the deck, and I'm gonna try to like break his fall or prevent him from sort of smashing his head or something. And then when he goes into the water, Sai kind of pauses for a second and then just runs and jumps in after him.
Sweet.
So,
Do you throw off your sorry, Ken. Do you throw off your like swords before jumping in, or do you jump in with those dice?
I would maybe. No, I don't think I would.
Okay.
I mean, how secure is like my daisho? In other words, like would going in the water, like would I lose them?
Oh, only if, there was an extraordinary circumstance that would cause it.
I mean, I feel like I'm certainly bringing my wakizashi. Yeah.
Sweet.
I think I would keep them.
Sweet. So you jump overboard, and Mr. Hiroshi?
I'm in the meantime trying to find a loose rope somewhere that I can get a hold of and throw overboard.
Sweet. Will you make a what stat would you like to use to locate this rope?
Ooh.
Strength.
I mean, the sane thing would be to use my void, but
Void.
air is awareness. It makes sense.
Okay.
Would I use my awareness specifically, or
Awareness investigation.
okay? That's actually one of my better stats. It's not as good as void, but
Sweet. So you were able to keep an eye on the line that like smacked the boy off the boat. So you were able to locate it and grab a hold of it. Now, would you like to make a strength roll for me to see if you can wrangle it back into its proper position?
Indeed. Sheet doesn't seem to be working.
Tight.
Popping out and back in hopes that the sheet will start working again. Okay, so what was I doing? Sorry.
You are you found the rope for the sail. Now you're trying to wrangle it and tie it around a post so it can like get back in its proper form.
And what would you like me to roll for that?
Let's see, strength and something else. Athletics, maybe?
Sure.
Or something that you think would be appropriate for it. Sailing,
Athletics, strength.
perhaps?
I mean, both are going to be equally crappy for me, if I'm honest. I'm not trained in either, and both stats are a 2. So, you know.
Hey, sweet. Lots of unexploded tins in today's session.
Yes. Including 3 on 1 roll.
Yeah, so you really managed to seize the day, and you find the rope, you grab a hold of it, and despite the wind blowing against you, you force yourself over to the mast and tie everything down, doubling the knot on the broken end of the rope. And with that, Sai is able to, not Sai, Ryota is able to get some control over the ship and steer it out of the way of the oncoming rocks. Speaking of oncoming rocks, Sai plunges into the inky black but still water of this thing in search of the boy on the boat. Yes, would you like to make an investigation roll for me, sir?
Sure.
Oh my god.
Apparently we're rolling well today. I feel like we will pay for this later, when it actually truly matters.
Well, I just added 2 ranks to my investigation.
Yeah, so you jump overboard and you as you dive into the lake, you land right next to him. You precision laser point yourself through the thing. He's currently floating on his belly in the water because he got knocked out. But as you dive into the water, you actually notice that in this section of the lake, the water's actually it's very shallow. This early in the morning, you kind of see the rocky bottom of the lake not that far behind you, and so you kind of put your foot on the bottom so you can push up and get back to the surface. And as you put your foot on the bottom to push up, it moves out from under you, and you see the pattern of a great serpent kind of rushing past you as your foot launches off the bottom of it. And before you have time to panic about that, you've resurfaced, and let's get an athletics roll to get this boy to the ship. All right, so you're having a very hard time getting this dude into the ship. He's kind of just dead weight. You're not very used to swimming. The boat's kind of worried about not sinking, so it's not too concerned about slowing down for you. So you can either drop the boy, or you can take some damage and attempt to make a second roll for me.
I'll take some damage.
Cool.
Ooh.
Sweet. You're going to take 13 points of damage. Would you like to soak that?
Sure.
Sweet. So you only take 3 as you kind of breathe in a spray of water. You're like, oof, and you recenter yourself and kind of pull the boy out of the water again as you have like, for some reason, have the proper lifeguard form and have your like arms under his armpit and are swimming on your back. Roll that second athletics roll for me. TN is still 20. There we go. You this time you managed to center yourself and you swim mightily towards the boat. It seems to have righted itself. The sails are once again proudly standing above the boat, and there's a rope that's thrown towards you, and you kind of like tie the boy's like wrist. I don't know the proper procedure, but you like tie him to the boat, and they start hefting his unconscious body out of the water. And let's see, do you have a...
Can I grab onto the rope as well?
Sure, how about you make a, I don't know, jujitsu roll for me real quick, though. I'll go easy on you, TN 15. Haven't even looked at it yet. We'll see what we get. Ooh, spectacular. So, you grab onto the boy's boat and you see the water kind of like, the water's been like perfectly still all night. It's a very calm lake, but as you're getting the boy tied up, you see like a wave kind of come rushing towards you, and you're like, oh crap. And so you like grab onto the boy's leg as he's being hefted up, and as the wave is like cresting at the bottom of the ship, you kind of like put your foot on the boat and like throw yourself a little bit higher as the wave passes from under, and you see some like sharp rock formation suddenly like jut out of the water near you, and you throw yourself on board and you feel safe.
So I assume Iswa kind of like just lies down on board and he's coughing, and in between coughs he says, "That's no snake."
You saw something in the water?
There is some kind of beast down there. I touched it.
I turned to our head salvager. I thought you said that was impossible.
And he shouts, "It is!" as he's needling his way through the water, and a sailor comes up from the bottom of the ship and he says, "We're taking on water. We need people down here fast." As he runs back towards the ship, and Raud is like, "We'll discuss this later. Help them patch up the bottom as I get us out of these rocks."
Asaka will head down. Asaka will head down. Sorry, I'm really not used to today being of a different family than the school I'm in, and being tired, my brain's mixing it up quite a bit.
That's okay. I like the idea of you like sending my character down there to go patch it up. Yeah,
I am an
Iswa
Bensai after all, and you're just some no magic person.
Right. Iswa kind of like picks himself up, soaking wet, still sort of probably out of breath, and he like heads down below deck.
Okie doke. As you see, one of the sailors is down there, and he's basically unlatching like the planks of wood that they have secured at the bottom for this very instance, as there are several holes at the bottom of the ship that are like spraying water. It's about up to your ankles right now, but certainly could be getting worse. So what rolls will you guys make to patch these holes? Now, a very cool session of 7th Sea I played one time where this exact same thing happened, but when we went to patch the ship, mermaid arms like burst through the holes and like grabbed onto people and tried to like rip them through the bottom of the boat. Very cool. What were you saying?
That's a very interesting concept.
For sure. So what rolls would you guys like to make?
I think I would do engineering. Would that work?
That sounds perfect. This is the first engineering roll anybody's ever made in one of my games. I'm very excited.
I don't imagine. Commune takes a long time, doesn't it? So that's no good. I'm not commune. Importuning. And besides, I am basically the worst Shugenja ever with elements that aren't void.
You could Jade Strike it.
Oh yes, I'm sure that would be effective.
Doo-doo-ch.
Got him.
I think I'll just basically try and pull up the bad boards because I've got nothing better to do. I'll assist in pulling it back.
Sweet, sweet.
So strength, I assume.
Yeah.
I'm a weak scholar.
He's like, sweet. So yeah, you guys are Ken's
Just standing there.
no, he's pulling out the boards, and as he does, a spray of water gushes out, and I'm gonna roll damage for you, Ken.
Okay. Ooh. I think I'm gonna soak that.
Okie doke, sounds good to me. Has a spray of water as he's like pulling up the bad boards. The water rushes in and like gets him right in the throat as he soaks most of it, but suffers a little damage.
I'm going to soak getting soaked.
Hey, boom,
Ooh,
punch.
good one.
Almost worth a void point. Almost. So would you guys make those rolls one more time? I'm looking for a combined total of 30 in order to succeed on this.
See, this is what I was talking about we used up all our luck. Okay. That's a combined roll.
Nice.
So what happens is like the spray of water like throws Asako to the ground and kind of like hits Asawa in the chest and like rips his kimono off the top part of his chest to just reveal like glorious muscles and like and he's like, I got this, and throws himself in front of the breach and like nails it shut and you know, carpenters the entire thing and yeah, gets that ship sealed up. As the sailor nods towards you and starts bailing water out from the hole. And so you guys head out, and the ship's currently going through a maze of rocks, but you guys have successfully avoided the danger. And Ryota, as he's obviously concentrating, but he sees you guys come up from the ship. The father is currently attending to his son, who's alive thanks to Mr. Sai. And Ryota's like, what are we dealing with exactly at this lake? Are we looking for the Orochi?
No, it is. That is not what came down here. What fell into the lake is supposedly an oversized paper lantern.
And he like, bah! He does a bah noise. He's like, alright, fine, keep your secrets from me, but you're putting me and my men in danger for the sake of whatever your mission is.
We are sorry for that, but it is a necessity.
And everybody becomes pretty quiet after the events that just transpired. As you know, they're off to a corner being like, we should throw these magistrates into the river and save ourselves. Not that you guys hear that. So after he emerges from like the maze of rocks, if we will once again turn our attention towards the bottom of the map, the slope that you guys are currently going on, it goes from that kind of steady to like to that once you guys emerge.
So is there like a noticeable incline on the ship now?
It's noticeable in the fact that, once again, as far as you guys are concerned, you're like flat on the water, no problem. But if you like look towards where you'd be looking at the horizon or the stars, you can see the other like side of the lake also sloping down towards where apparently your destination is. And by this point, you know, you guys and any like goods on your ship should be like tumbling off the front of the boat, but
They aren't.
They aren't. No, everything's perfectly fine. If you like get a koku, you can like flick it and it'll roll to the back of the ship. Yeah. And everyone's like, "What the?" As yeah, maybe I'm gonna ask for a fear test from everybody.
That's
What is that, Earth?
power and honor, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up real quick.
I haven't done one of those in a long time.
It was what in honor?
Fear effects are given a rank ranging from 1 to 10 to represent their severity. To resist a fear effect, the character must roll raw willpower at a TN of equal to 5 plus 5 times fear rank.
It's 2.
I'm going to void point this because it's probably important to.
Well, I rolled poorly.
Asako has seen the void. Who cares? Let's see, but a fear rating of 2 should only be a teen of 10, right?
It would be 15.
Oh, 15? Bummer. Alright, so Asako is... let me check real quick. Sorry. You alright? Alright, so Mr. Isawa, you'll be suffering a 2k0 penalty on some upcoming rolls. As you know, Asako, you've seen movements like this before in the void, you know, gravity, it's all an illusion. I'm pretty sure you guys don't even have a concept of gravity yet, so like, who cares? You know, all is as the common wills it. Isawa to Sai, however,
The gate is down.
yeah. Sai, however, he's just like, what is happening? The rules of the universe are suddenly not making very much sense as you guys are just like gently floating down into, I don't know. You guys are going forward, and the north, east, and west side of the maps are also going into that same location. And that's not kosher. But yeah, you guys keep on keeping on as you approach. And the final leg of the trip, nothing happens, thankfully. As you guys are getting closer and closer to your destination, you also find yourselves getting closer and closer to a roof of some sort, because you guys are like currently in a funnel. So as you guys get closer and closer to your ship being in a vertical state, the mast is getting like closer and closer to the other side of the funnel. So that's fun. So as you guys approach, you get to the point where the mast is like almost touching the other side of the funnel, and Riot is like, I don't know, drop anchor, and the anchor drops and it goes to what you guys perceive as your bottom, and it hits pay dirt and kind of lands there. As the ship stops moving forward, and if gravity was working, you guys should just cascade head forward into the water, but you don't. And at the center point, I forgot to describe something very fun. Oh, all right. Well, for my sake, let's rewind just a few minutes, because something actually does happen as you guys are sailing towards this very smooth water. You guys are currently in the funnel, and there's a rotting sort of smell that's kind of like coming up from the lake at this point. It's no good. It's like you guys have to cover your noses because it smells uncomfortable. And if you look at the water, it's actually turned completely white and opaque. The water you're sailing on is no longer inky black water at night. It's now some sort of like white substance that's thick and opaque. And would you guys like to make an investigation to find out what it is?
Do I get my fear minuses to this?
You do.
I really need to become more intelligent.
Sai, even though you're afraid, you recognize what that is. It's milk. The water you're currently sailing through is sour milk.
Ew.
Yeah.
Something that came out of an animal and rotten on the top of that. That's just gross.
It's a cruise to remember. Yeah. And then after discovering that, you guys go back to, we fast forward back to the description I gave 2 minutes ago about you guys approaching the funnel. As you guys approach, as you guys get really close to it, the water stops being milk and turns back into being water. But you notice, like, after hitting a certain threshold, it turns from water into milk. Which is very fun. So if we look at the map, I'll kind of unveil another part of the picture. As you guys look to where the lake is converging in this funnel, like formation. You see at the very bottom there's a glowing light coming from the bottom, and you hear a noise that sounds something like as you guys get close to it, that's sort of just echoing out from under the water. Oh, it's a little loud for my taste, but it's almost okay.
I suspect that is what we are searching.
What was that?
I suspect that is what we are searching for.
I suspect too. And all the sailors kind of like lean over the boat as they're just like staring, and they're like, "Oh my!" So,
Yes, that must be it.
all right, Ryoda like claps his hands together, and he's like, "Anything to get this over with." And the men start outfitting their cables and whatnot to the mast. As they have like 4 cables, and they connect around a pulley system, and the 4 sailors kind of like shrug off their robes and get into their like sailor diapers. You know what I'm talking about. As they start doing their breathing exercises, start stretching, and Ryota comes up to you and says, "Okay, so the plan is that they're going to they dive into the water. They connect the hooks to any point of purchase that they can. When they submerge, they get onto the boat, and then we use these pulley systems." He points up to the mast, and we heft until we can get the thing out of the water and onto the ship. Sound good?
Good to me.
Sure.
I assume it's the glowing orb. Is there anything I mean, I kind of need to know what we're looking for. Is there like a box that we're looking for? Is it the light itself?
It,
If it was a lantern, are we pulling up the entire lantern?
I would presume the entire lantern needs to come, whatever remains of it.
Okay, we'll try to do that, and if it turns out to be too hefty, we'll think of an alternate plan when we get there. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay. He gives the nod towards the sailors, and they all dive off the edges. So you guys are holding their lines basically, and it's like, okay, 3 tugs and pull them up. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys are on the edge of the boat, and what God, this would look so cool in the movie, because you guys are like, basically they jumped off and landed in water that's like in front of the boat, going vertically, and so like the lines of the ship are like coming straight off the mast and just like heading into water. It's very cool in my imagination. So you guys are kind of on the fore of the ship with these ropes in your hands, waiting for things to happen. And after a little bit, you see air bubbles start to come up from the glow deep in the water, but no tugging. And then a few seconds after that, you see a body kind of like float up to the surface. But it's not a body of one of the sailors. It's a body of someone in a black robe, and it's very pale and obviously has been like nommed on by sea life by this point. And as you guys go, ooh,
I mean, Yeah, we're interested. Do I recognize the black robes? I mean, being samurai, we can't really touch the corpse or anything like that.
Yeah, you're not fishing out of the water. Yeah, it looks like it belongs to one of the, entities that you've been visited by several times in this campaign.
Yeah.
Hiroshi will notice that it doesn't have an arm.
Oh, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah, that's fun. You feel a vibration on like the ropes, and
Start pulling.
sweet, and as you start pulling, you're like met with like a lot of resistance, and a few seconds later, you see a head pop out of the water, and then another one, another one, and another one, and the sailors swim towards the boat and climb up on top of it as they're like catching their breaths. They're holding their breath for a long time.
At first, when you said a head pop out of the water, I was
Yeah.
like, something decapitated them?
Very cool.
I was thinking exactly the same thing.
So Ryder like claps his hands together and says, "Are we happy?" And they give a thumbs up, and he's like, "All right." And so after they catch their breath, everybody goes towards the line. Everybody's kind of in like a line as everybody grabs a hold of that rope and gives a great heft. Make some straight strength rolls for me. For no purpose, I just want to see who contributes. Sai is mighty.
Sorry, things went silent for a bit for me. What did I miss?
Make a strength roll.
Okay. This is going to be absolutely terrible.
That's okay, we're looking to laugh.
Oh, why is the character sheet doing this again?
Gets me every time.
Physical labor is not Asako Hiroshi's strong suit. Pun intended.
So all these brawny sailors are doing their thing, hefting this thing out of the water, and Hiroshi's helping, is what we can say about it. So you guys heft and it takes a few minutes, but eventually that noise you've been hearing, it's getting closer and closer to the surface, and you heft and you heft and you heft, and out from the water, you can see it looks, God, I'm such a great idea person. That's all I can say. Because the way this would be is you guys would like be looking straight towards the horizon, and so, which would also be like looking straight into water as you're pulling this out, so you guys can see it every inch of the way. Oh, so cool. So you're pulling this thing out, you see like some like broken wood kind of poking out of the water, and then like red fabric is coming along with it as one of the hooks like comes out of the water, and it's very a gossamer type material. This comes out and starts shirking off all the water as that like gurgling sound happens, and then with one mighty heft, the glowing part finally comes out of the water, and you guys are like, ooh, kind of blinded as a miniature sun kind of like bathes you all in light. And it's only really hidden by the red fabric that's kind of like soaking onto it at the moment. And as it gets pulled out of the water, the noise you've been hearing, now that's no longer muffled by the water. It doesn't sound like that gurgling sound anymore. It sounds like children's laughter as you pull the ship aft. Suddenly, The lake is awash with the sounds of children's laughter. And it was like, oh, creepy. And you heft some more, and with that orb out of the water, kind of hanging off the bow of the ship at the moment is what you would describe as a broken giant Chinese lantern. It's actually a lot lighter than you were expecting it to be, other than like the wood and whatever that glowing thing is. It seems like it's made out of some fabric, so while it's voluminous, it's not very heavy.
Do we still hear the children, or was that like momentary?
It goes on.
Is it intact?
Sorry?
Is it intact?
Is this what?
Intact.
Still
whole.
Well, once you get it on board, we'll find out. But no, it looks crumpled, and the ship itself looks like it got shot by 2 Shigenja, then crashed into a lake. But who knows? We'll see what we see once you get it on board. Which is the real question of everything, because, you've all been very preoccupied with this, and you notice that there's a secondary ship kind of sailing its way down the slope of the funnel as well. It bears, unlike this ship, it bears the Mon of the Phoeni-X clan, as these guys are, what's the word? It's like a lake patrol book. It's like a, what's it called? Coast Guard. There we go. Do they have the Coast Guard in Canada?
We do have a Coast Guard, yes.
Alrighty. One of the mysteries of the world solved here on this show. One last detail. So I already feel like I'm ripping this out of nowhere because I should have mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to mention it now. As you pull this out of the water, you definitely feel that like muffled feeling of the kami around you. Like they're almost like they're being silenced. But as you pull this thing out, it's like, yo, the kami don't want to be anywhere near this thing. They seem like muffled completely. And it's very uncomfortable for you as a Shugenja, because now you know what the normie Sai feels like.
I mean, I can barely hear the whispers as is. I'm a crap normal.
It's true.
Even though I'm Insight rank 2, I cast them just as poorly as an Insight rank 1 Shugenja if it's not void.
So yeah, the schooner kind of pulls up beside you, and everybody's like, what? As they start tying the rope to the mast as they prepare to deal with this. One moment as I clear up another section of the map.
Oh my.
They're not clones, I just didn't want to find 5 different Phoeni-X Samurai pictures. Besides, I've already used all my Phoeni-X Samurai pictures for NPCs on this campaign. Sorry?
Understandably, considering, basically every character is a Phoenix.
Yeah. So they approach you and they're like, tension, vessel, I don't know what the seaside protocol is. You're currently interfering with military matters. Cease your salvage operation. They're saying this through like a bullhorn. Cease any salvaging attempts at this moment. Prepare to be boarded and prepare to turn any sensitive information to the Phoeni-X clan.
I'll look to Asako and I'll say, how should we handle this?
we basically only have two options. Either comply, which likely means our death, or resist, which likely means theirs.
I'll move to the. Sorry, I'm eating popcorn. I'll move to the whatever like side of the ship is closest is facing them,
Okay.
and I'll say, we are on official Phoenix Clan business. We ask that you cease and desist, or aid us immediately.
And for whom are you on official business for?
We are Phoenix Clan magistrates.
For which office?
Office 34.
And the planks like come down on your ship, and they say, "That's very interesting, because according to the reports, Office 34 is dealing with a, God, what's it called? A travel pass issue in the Isawa province."
That is correct.
Which means that this is unofficial business of Office 34.
That is incorrect. We did receive the order.
We are accomplishing two tasks at the same time.
Surely you understand that one's duties may be divided, and the work may exceed what one individual can do simultaneously.
And with this, the five bushi move across the planks, and the leader says, "Well, do you have any?"
I am going to like step in front and block like the plank, and I'll say, "What is your purpose aboard this ship?"
We've been sent by by Phoenix Clan Command to secure any salvage from this crash. Do you have any proof that you're here on official business?
Were we forced to hand over the... Wait, we never actually received official paper from Asako June, did we?
We did, and I think we had to hand it back to
She burned it.
Asako. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. And then she gave us another file. So we don't have paperwork. Except we do have the paperwork saying that we are clan magistrates.
Wait. I'd ask the captain to present what Asako Jun gave him.
Oh, good call.
Clever. Asako Hiroshi, why don't you make a bureaucracy roll for me? An etiquette roll.
This is not going to be great, but... Okay.
What?
Oh, right, I forgot I raised my etiquette to 3.
So, woof. So, Ryoda's like, be right back, and he heads downstairs and comes back up, and he opens up and says, by order the assistant head magistrate Asako Jun, Shiba Ryoda is hereby ordered to report to Lake Kanata to assist Office 34 in a salvage operation at these coordinates to be you know, assisting them in any part of blah 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 blah. And the Bushi all look it over, and they're like, you know, he takes it from Ryota, and they're like, what the? They're like, one moment, please. And they head back to their boat and talk things over for a few minutes. So, what do you guys do in that interim?
I'll turn to Asako and mumble, if this turns into a fight, I'll try to block them at the plank. Can you destroy the plank out from under them?
I know not whether this will work, but perhaps. I would turn to the captain and ask, realistically, what is our chance of outrunning them in the with the current match of the boats?
If we've got the salvage on board, this ship is much bigger and slower, and that's like an intercepting boat, so they'll catch us no problem.
What happens if their mast is damaged?
Well, if their mast is damaged, they're not going anywhere. And he looks straight up, and he's like towards like the water that's just impossibly shaped. And he's like, but you know, with that to consider, who's to say?
It took me 2 solid hours to get from work to there.
I do have a concern.
Is there an accident or something?
Yes.
The water is currently bent towards this object. Who is to say that such a bend would not still exist as we move, except centered upon us? Can we ever truly outrun them?
It's ridiculous. I did something to my phone.
I did not think of that.
Why nothing brighter than this?
Then again, we were not sped up in our motion towards this object, were we? Was this ship traveling normal speed to your belief, Captain?
Yes.
So at least that distortion should not.
I think it's something on that panel, but I don't
Captain.
know what.
Yes.
You are familiar with these shoals.
Yes.
Would it be possible, assuming that the peculiar way the water is bending continues to follow us along with this object, to chart a course such that the shoals are the only path between them and us and will be uncovered as the water recedes?
I believe it's possible.
Leftover Mexican food in the burritos.
So he thinks it's possible?
Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot of noise right now, so I was having a hard time following.
Basically, what I'm suggesting is this. The water bends, obviously. I'm wondering whether he thinks he can chart a course such that if the water continues to bend along the movement of the object, such that the only intercept course goes past the shoals, and thus basically it goes shoals.
Yeah, that's very fun. I like the idea of that. Let's do it.
So that's what the Sako is basically thinking. Little cutter boat, big boat. Oh no!
Sweet. So after a little bit, the Bushies come back and ask to be led aboard.
Still not into the theory of
We'd like to question Shiba Ryota as to his association with you two.
I stand and I block the plank, and as before, and I say, I suggest you do so as you are now.
He says, I think we've been more than patient up with you until now. If you continue to stand in my way, you're interfering with military business and will be treated as a traitor of the Phoeni-X clan.
So out of character, do they like outrank us? Like, what is the
have to worry whether they're inside or outside.
hierarchy here?
Well, currently they have like actual proof that they're supposed to be here, so rather than secondary proof.
I mean, it does say assist Office 34 in this paper.
It's true. I'm just wondering if the primary, secondary source would be applicable in the court.
Your nearest neighbor wasn't near.
And they lived outside the whole time,
Yeah, that's a
so
good question.
it wasn't
But I am higher status than they
new
are.
stress.
I
or
assert.
caused
Oh, you are Tensei, so. It really depends.
Master of what? Actually, I won't go quite that specific. You would question a student of one of the elemental masters.
If those are my orders, then yes.
I have been watching The Legend of Superstition.
I'll look to Asako and see, like, I'll basically go by his indication.
It's a tough call. I think we should probably try and get away.
Flesh it out. Do you have a soda?
With that, we will be off.
Alright, roll for initiative.
I'd rather you had a
Wasn't there something strange with the initiative on the character sheets again?
You have to have a token selected.
Say that again?
You have to have a token selected.
A token?
Yeah.
Oh, like on the mat. Okay.
Actually, let me see if that picture of me is a token. That picture of me is a token.
I got you.
Well, that's not great.
So did your mom look back?
3D10 keep too.
Haha.
What is the initiative roll again?
It's insight rank reflexes, I think.
Wheeling her in and out.
Yeah, they were down there. She was back. They made her do.
I can't even find it.
Oh, it's down on. It's on the page that has all your character information and wounds down below the arm. It's in the area with the armor.
Oh, I see it. How d- How did you click on your portrait?
You have to be on select mode, and then I just click my portrait. If you're on draw mode, it won't work.
Oh, I see it.
Okay. Someone's going first.
Whoa, how's mine
Wait.
that? That
What?
doesn't seem right.
That can't possibly be right.
I just rolled the button.
What's your insight rank listed as on the sheet? What does it think your insight rank is?
2.
It thinks
My
you're
insight
2.
rank is 2. My reflexes are 3. I have something saying I get a modifier, but I don't know why.
If you don't have a reason, you could just remove the modifier.
I think it may have something to do with the fact that he has like 100 bonus XP because his character sheet's broken. I don't know if you guys remember that, but
Yeah. What's it listing your insight as?
So I can just roll.
Insight rank, keep reflexes.
My insight rank, it says at the top, rank 2. So insight, you roll. But what happens if my reflexes are higher than my? Oh,
Oh, it's like a skill roll. Only instead of the skill, there's insight rank. So if you've got 3 reflexes, you'd be rolling.
oh, I see. So I should be rolling 5, keep 3. I'm checking my advantages really quick and stuff just to make sure I don't, to see like where the bonus was coming from.
Yeah, that's weird.
I can't find where it was coming from.
What have you got
So
for advantages?
I just have Lucky and Shiba, and I have the first 2 ranks, like my Shiba ancestor or whatever, and I have the first 2 ranks of the Shiba school.
I don't think any of those have anything to do with initiative.
Me neither.
Did you void point an initiative at some point?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I've only rolled initiative like twice. So that's 5 rolls, and I rolled a 10, which would explode, so I'll roll for that. So I got a 20, I believe. Oh no, I keep 3. 27.
Did you roll every die individually?
Yeah. I'm just trying to go quickly. I don't remember how to do the notation.
Oh, the 10 should explode. Oh, you
I did explode it, yeah.
alright, so Slawasai, you're going first, keeping in mind you get a negative 2k0 because you're a
I seem
feared.
to have feared from the turn tracker, so let me just re-roll what my initiative was as a straight number, which is 16. Okay.
Oh, should I have rolled -2 for this?
Nah, it's fine.
Okay.
There. Might need a resort.
So what's the plan, Sai?
So I'm standing at the edge of the plank. Are they standing on the plank?
Yeah.
And there's like 5 of them?
Yeah.
I am going to enter full defense and just try to block them from coming aboard the ship.
Okay.
And wait for Asako to do his thing.
Bushi number 1 is the one who's most annoyed with you, obviously. He's going to take 2 raises on Isawasai to do a knockdown. Because you have 2 legs. He's also going to use 2 void points.
So is this a point where I could use void points to increase my defense?
You
Yes.
theoretically could, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what my defense would be now. I think it's 23.
You said your defense or full defense?
It's 23 without full defense. So full defense, what does that do?
You have to roll defense, I believe.
Yeah, roll defense, and I think you get to keep half of it.
That sounds right. I'm just trying to find it now to confirm. Roll a defense reflexes roll, and half the total is added to your Arbor TN.
So 8.
Alright, so 31. So I have to get a 41 to knock you down.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that.
Aw, shucks. Alright, Hiroshi.
Hiroshi is going to do the thing to basically void away the plank. If that's actually allowed to target a non-person with it.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So free raise and 2 manual raises to turn it to a 1-turn cast. Where are you? Right, it's my very last spell.
What the?
I think I might have cast a spell.
Yep, I think you did that.
And this is the damage to the plank.
Yeah, sweet. For sure you throw the pure essence of the void through that plank and it just shatters in these 5 bushi. Go spilling into the drink.
Captain now.
Yeah, the ship creaks as it does its way. As the sailors desperately try to get the lantern. Love you.
Love you too.
The lantern onto the deck of the ship as it's swinging around as you guys turn around in an impossible way and start climbing back towards the sky. As you guys turn around, you see the bushi start to, reboard their ship, and they start to turn their boat around. And as they do, from the other side of the funnel, so what would be the ceiling for your ship, a giant snake of some sort, looks kind of like a dragon, just dives through the opening into the sky and headbutts through their ship, and the ship cracks in half as this serpent goes right through it and hits the other side of the water and keeps going. And for quite a while you see the body of the serpent just threading its way through the open air and back into the other side of the water. As the ship,
That's good.
yeah.
Istua's eyes just sort of go wide now that he can actually see the full thing.
Psy, secure the cargo. He yells Ryota as
Yeah, I'll give them a hand to tie it down or whatever.
Sweet, sweet. The sound of laughing children is filling the deck as you're kind of sealing this thing up. Would you like to inspect it as you're doing this?
Yes.
Sure.
Sweet. Make an investigation roll for it.
Still at -2.
Yes. Cool. So you'll notice that it's made out of the red material is some sort of silk. It probably has another type of material in it, but it's made out of silk. The wooden parts are just simple lumber, nothing very special about it. What you're probably very concerned with is the glowing orb in the middle of it. It's about a meter tall, a meter in diameter. This glowing thing. It's covered in paper seals that have writing on them, like a yogo might use. It's covered in them, and the part that, if you're like really paying attention, where the noise is like coming out from, the laughter is coming out from, there's a part of the orb that's cracked and it's missing its paper seals over that, and that's where like most of the light's shining out from, and like where the noise is escaping, basically.
I am seeing a parallel here.
I'm sure I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, you guys are securing that as you guys are racing up towards towards the edge of this funnel type thing. And I wish one of you was piloting the ship, because it'd be a much more dramatic role. But as you guys look behind you, you see a serpent kind of jumping in and out of the water after you guys, and you're like, oh dear.
I think I'll head to the back of the ship and try. What is bow again? Like, what is to use my bow?
Reflexes.
Jujutsu reflexes, yeah.
Did you fix the brightness?
Oh, it's Kinjitsu?
No, Kyujutsu.
Oh, Kyujitsu. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take some shots at it.
Or do you want to go out the mall?
When I feel like I have a good shot, I'll try to shoot at it.
Dillard's, whatever we can find.
Yeah, I like to do that. Riley said she'd come with
I'm
us.
going to
She has
strengthen
to be home at
Void
1:30
to
though.
try and make things easier to cast.
Choose. Keep a young person vibe to it.
That's right. Okie doke. The void goes. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting, because you're really like fighting against the orb, which is like weakening reality around you. So, but yeah, the void definitely goes A1 thick and hardy. And did Sai make his Kyujutsu roll?
Oh no, I didn't know if it was. I'm not sure the arrows are gonna do anything, but here I go.
Oh, you're just like threatening it?
Well, no, I just assumed like the thing was so heavily armored. I don't know. It'd be like shooting a gun at a tank or something.
Yeah, you see your arrows plink off. And I was a little distracted when you were talking, Ken. What was your true purpose behind strengthening the void?
Mostly to make my artillery harder to. My artillery spell basically a lot easier to cast quickly.
Sweet. So Sai's like plinking arrow at this thing as it's jumps out of the water and jumps back in, and they're all plinking off his scales, and he's like, and so you guys are just about cresting over the funnel. You're about to get into the rocky part of the lake. So if you guys would like to, you, Hiroshi, would like to do Void Dart one more time. Let's see what we see.
I would like to do that. I would originally, like my original plan as we were leaving before this thing showed up and destroyed the enemy, was going to be to do this to the mast, but instead I'll do it to them. Would you aid me in my casting, Mr. Shiva?
Sure.
So I use my free raise from being in Asawa, my free raise from Strength in the Void, and make a manual raise that's basically negated by that to one turn cast this at normal TN.
Nice.
Damage.
That's not as significant.
Not as spectacular as that plank of wood.
Which basically just turned into a pile of splinters.
Yes. So you guys are cresting over the funnel. The ship, it suddenly is like facing towards the sky again, and this thing like lunges out of the water and gets ready to just take a giant bite out of the butt of the ship that you guys are standing on. Ryo was like, "Oh my god!" As Hiroshi strengthens the void around him and shoots his void dart at the Orochi, and it's powerful enough that it, like, stops its momentum for a second and kind of knocks it kind of back, and just then the ship like arches over the funnel that was leading towards the resting spot of the ship, and when it does, the ship no longer being in that vortex, the water all kind of just like rubber bands back together, and it does that in the way that the funnel basically just like closes in on itself, and so like basically the head of the Orochi just like floats to the surface and looks like it was just like cut perfectly along the neck, and it's just like floats in the opposite direction of the lake as you guys head into the shawls and start maneuvering your way out.
I imagine at this point Isawa's jealousy is
Pretty, yeah.
sort of full-fledged, you know, after shooting these little arrows and then seeing the void dart or whatever it's called.
Pretty hefty. And with that, the next hour and a half are relatively uneventful. All things considered, as you guys arrive safely on shore, and dawn, Lady Amaterasu starts to rise up at the east as your hard work's night is complete. And Ryota asks, would you guys like a cart to head towards Kyudensawa and transport the ship, the lantern, to Kyudensada, or will you guys be guarding it?
I am not only sure Kyudensawa may be an appropriate place for this object. It is very difficult to say.
Oh, well, where would you like the cart to take it?
Can we take it to your dojo, Asako?
That would be within Kyudensawa itself.
Oh.
That would take it within the castle itself.
Yes.
Why, out of character, why did I think... Don't you have, like, contacts in Kyuden-Asako?
Technically, ooh. But do I want to get my family involved in such dark things? I did have one other idea.
I have another idea too.
My idea is taken to that temple of Benton.
Who? Mr.
My
Science.
my idea was to take it to Castle Sai.
Ah! That one, please. That one.
I mean, an elemental master would be a good choice. And he does know things about the Uzumaki spirit.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Because there's also the invitation to go there, so it seems like at some point we're going to go there anyway.
Fun.
Of course, the castle is on the other side of Phoeni-X territory. And the place that was supposed to have the Phoeni-X stuff or whatever was like nearby, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's,
The stuff, the the documents, shedding light on our boss.
Yeah, that's up here. Where is this? Where is Kyudensai?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Why, theoretically, no, you'd have to go out of the way one way or another. I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, no, that won't work. That won't work at all. Cart would not navigate that. I thought was having us dock more over here and then overland route to there so that we could then head back south this way. But yeah, that's not feasible.
I didn't see any of your like marking. Oh, I see them now. Oh no, that's yeah. I didn't see any of your.
This is what I was potentially thinking. We're on this lake, so theoretically we could get off at any part of it.
Sounds solid to me.
It's just that there's not really any nice fancy roads, just crappy paths.
But doesn't this thing weigh like a ton?
No, it's pretty light, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's just...
Especially, like, if we could get, like, a cart and some donkeys or something, and especially if the cart is covered.
The manic laughter of children will be a little hard to disguise, but I think you can manage.
And unfortunately, I don't have air illusions that make things quiet.
Well, what we can do is hire a group of children to follow us.
Genius.
Oh my god, this is truly elaborate.
That was kind of a joke, but I'm wondering too if we should stay off the main roads. Like I suspect
Yeah.
they're going to. I'm wondering if we should go straight to the castle and stay off the main roads, and then come back for those documents after.
Here's a thought.
Yes.
Go through the Moriyasawa like that, and then fuck around that, and possibly try and meet up with our companions returning to Kyudenosawa on the way at this point.
I think the lake actually, after a length on the river, actually goes back into the ocean.
Why, that seems like a brilliant plan then.
That would definitely take you a long way out of the way, though.
Well,
But
ship travel is faster than overland travel.
right,
That's
and
true.
probably more like like probably more reliable too.
And we could always shove the artifact under deck where the laughter of children will just torment us while we sleep, rather than hearable across the open water.
Sounds rad. If you guys go with that plan, are you going to hop into that city to get the documentation, or are you gonna just forego that?
Might have to forego that for now.
Do we trust this Shiba to make it to the castle on his own?
Has he stricken you as a competent guy so far?
He seems both competent, and there is the fact that it was Jun specifically that sent him to us. And Jun seems to be on the level.
There is the concern that the last time we left a task up to someone else was the matter with Sai, and that didn't work out very well. I suppose that wasn't the last time, but that is an instance of us leaving a task up to someone else and it not working out.
Sai's learning to be paranoid.
We may have to delay until such time as we have reason to return.
I agree.
Okay.
I do think it prudent, though, that we must return before Winter Court.
Yes.
If we do need to present this for whatever reason, it must be done in the most public setting possible.
I agree with you.
Alrighty, then by sea.
I see.
Cool. So I'd say I have no idea if it'd be shorter or longer than going by foot.
Well, it would I assume too, like if we're bushwhacking and going on like small trails with a cart, that would take a lot of time because you have to like guide the mules and stuff.
That's true.
But if we were just taking the major roads, that would probably be more quickly. The route we're taking now is so like circuitous that it would probably be a little longer than going by the roads. Of course, the maps are not to scale at all, which we discussed last time.
Plus, you guys are going downriver for most of the way, so that's something.
Right.
So yeah, giving your deciding to rent the ship out for a hefty bonus fee, you guys. Instead of removing, I'm gonna say the sailors just get the lantern and the orb off of the boat, and they're like huffing and puffing, and you guys come back and you're like, all right, back on the boat. We're
Oh, I have some bad news when I'm looking at the full map of Rokugan.
Oh, does it not connect?
This, I don't think so. I can't find. Oh, 1 second.
The part of the map I have leads me to believe it does, but I also wouldn't be surprised.
It looks like it goes like towards the city of lies. Like it goes in the opposite direction of the ocean, and then it kind of connects.
It's out towards Crane Lands.
Yeah.
Oh, so it takes you like way out of the way.
Yeah, we go ahead.
It basically takes you back as far as the Baden Pass.
No, this is good. Somehow we can get you onto the River of Gold. Doc and Zakotoshi have adventures there. Then find our way back to it. It'll just be like, I don't know, how directors like use the same actors and stuff like that. Zakotoshi will just be the city that's in every one of my games.
They could meet. They could meet the ancestor of Shosuro Tsuchime, right? So Shosuro Tadakatsu.
Yep. Oh, that'd be great. All right, sounds like by land is the new plan.
Yep.
So, since we're going by land, would you like to stop by the city?
Which city?
The temple with the secrets on Yuri.
I think so.
But let me just slightly append. We should not bring the cart to the city. The cart should stop somewhere before the city. We go to the city, and then we go back to the cart if we are alive.
I agree with that. Do you have any... Are you capable of any magic that can obscure the cart?
Unfortunately, I only possess the ability to reveal that which is not true, not to obscure the truth. The air kami do not listen well to my prayers.
I understand.
Nor do any of the kami.
Interesting.
So you guys come back and you're like, okay, change of plans. As the sailors get everything loaded up on the ship and get the lantern strapped in. All right, we decided to go by land.
Fair, our characters probably would have known geography enough to know where the river went.
I guess. Yeah. So you guys sail up north until you get to that rocky area.
Where is that Benton temple, by the way?
It's down. Let me see if I can point it. It's down towards the south.
Is that closer to the river than anything else?
So this one right here is the main Blue Lotus Temple, and this one right here is the Temple of Benton.
Yeah, that's not really any better off. We'd have to pass through Nikasake on the way, and that seems like a terrible idea. So yeah, that does seem like the best course of action is to visit the city. Maybe try approaching it like this. And then hiding the cart up in the hills before coming down.
Okie doke.
Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Because hiding it in the hills is a lot easier than hiding it in the plains.
Mm-hmm. So you guys rent a cart and some burros when you make landfall. When we were doing the Thunder Spirit up in the mountains with the 7 thunders, I kept calling the area Caldera. And to me, it was just very funny for these feudal samurai Japanese men to say the word Caldera over and over. But I digress.
I wonder what caldera is in Japanese now.
A caldera. And that was your racist moment for the day.
I mean, they probably do have a native word considering how volcanic Japan is.
Oh, I'm sure that they do, yeah. Should we take precautions like traveling mostly at night and things like that, or would that just draw more attention to us?
The glowing orb might draw more attention.
What?
The glowing orb would be no more noticeable at nighttime than daytime, for sure.
That's true.
But you know, if you get a thick enough tarp.
Apparently, no. The terms of volcanology came from outside Japan. It is, in fact, Karudera.
I love that.
Oh, cool.
Alright. So, you guys head through some rough terrain for a few days as you're pushing this cart. It's an uphill battle. I guess you're not pushing it. You've got some donkeys to do the heavy lifting. Because Lord knows horses can't get it done. As you travel by day, keeping light to a minimum, really try to stay off the main roads because the laughter of the children's driving you crazy. You left the sailor and his unconscious son back at their home, and the 4 sailors and Ryota are accompanying you, I assume.
Presumably.
Sure.
Okay. And you guys arrive at the location of that abomination of a name of a town. Shiro no. Yeah, that's no good. So you guys hide the cart up in the foothills as you head towards the Blue Lotus Temple within the city. Are you leaving Ryota and the sailors to guard it?
That sounds like a reasonable plan. Well, I think we'll also take precautions to, like, cover it up, maybe. Put it somewhere discreet.
Okay.
And maybe try to, like, put branches over it, or I don't know.
Like in the hidden temple when he hides the gold in the tree branches. Yeah.
We should
Sure.
hide the lantern in the tree branches.
Perfect. They'll just think it's a giant paper lantern. You can't fail. Cool. Alright, then how about you guys make a some sort of stealth roll to hide it.
This is not going to go well.
I can, yeah, stealth and what? Intelligence?
Yeah.
Sheba's probably the one to do this then.
I will double void point this roll.
I mean, it's Sawa.
And, oh, shoot. I wanted to take a raise, but...
The fact that more than half the party is completely different school and family makes it very confusing at times.
You turned a courtier into a bushi. Don't talk to me about confusing. Yeah, with that...
I mean, let's face it. Yasuki was always a bushi. Always.
It's true. With that stealth roll, yeah, you managed to keep it pretty well hidden. You hide it in a daycare where no one would think. As you head down to the Blue Lotus Temple within the town. It's nowhere near as large as the one that you resided in for a few days, Mr. Sai, but it's a fair good size. It's just on the outskirts of the city. About 25 people could live here, you'd say. It's a nice temple. It's well kept. It's new. It's fresh. It's got the symbol of the Blue Lotus everywhere. That makes you nervous. It doesn't seem to be open to the public, so when you guys approach, some guards, some Sohi give you the halt. Who goes there?
Who I am is not of importance. All you need to know is that I'm here regarding Operation Skyfall, was it?
Starfall. But close enough.
Starfall.
And they go, and one of the Sohi will lead you into the temple. The outside of the temple is basically like an L shape of buildings, and then there's a courtyard in the middle, and then like completing the square is two gates. So you guys head through the gate, cleanse yourself spiritually, do a few snaps, feel great. And out in the courtyard, there's a few Sohi doing their thing, fighting each other. They also have stocks, basically, for for acolytes that are getting up into trouble. And so you guys are passing by these stocks when one of the people in the stocks starts shouting at you, and they're like, "Hiroshi, Sai, over here!"
I looked at who's shouting.
Sweet. So, it's a little hard to recognize him because he has a shaved head. But you see, God, what's his name? Shiba Umbayashi. Currently,
Oh my god.
caught in the stocks. And as you guys like kind of stop there and look aghast, so he's like, "Oh, it's just this way." As he sees you guys kind of slow down.
Wait, Umbayashi?
Yeah. Oh.
Isn't that the other magistrate?
Yeah, that's the one who was spying for Sako.
Oh. I'll approach him. And I'll say, "What happened?"
Asako will continue on and let Sai deal with the situation.
Okay. Splitting the party.
This is probably a terrible idea, but
So Umbayashi says that after you guys came back from the mountains, the Dyatlov Pass incident, you guys got back from the mountains, and he was preparing to give his report to Asako Jun and Asako Yuri by extent. So he's writing up his report, and as he was walking towards the magistrate's office, he was jumped and got knocked out, and he got taken here, and he's been here for months. Didn't you guys miss me? Did you look for me ever?
Wait.
Do I feel that sense that I get around like the Ronin?
No.
To be honest with you, I hardly noticed you were gone.
Wow. That's a real statement about my status as an NPC in the GM's job giving me a voice.
I am sorry to say. On what grounds are you being held here?
I don't think they have any. I'm kidnapped, man. I think they're well, I thought they were holding me as leverage over you guys, but since you didn't even care I was gone, I guess they're just keeping me for something else.
Have you heard of an Operation Starfall?
No, what's that? And as he says, what's that? Asako is being led into the depths of the temple. And, you come to a secured area, so the Sohi nods towards you and leaves you with the guards of the inner sanctum. They say, so what's your clearance for?
Starfall.
And they go, they nod, and they take you back into the depths, and you see in this temple has several locked iron doors, and they lead you to the door marked number 7, and he hands you a key from his a box that he's carrying with him, and it has a 7 on it. He hands it to you. And he says, all right, see you at the entrance, as he heads off back to his guard post.
You open the box, take the key, insert it, turn very carefully, and then push open the door into what is likely a bright safety deposit room.
God, have you ever seen The Mummy?
Which one?
The original. Not the original, like the third remake with Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah, but a very long time ago.
Yeah, same here.
Well, there's a scene where they have the diggers. They're like breaking up in like one of the tombs basically, and when they break the seal, like salt acid like sprays them and they all melt.
Oh.
So yeah. I think that'd be a very funny thing to do right now, but it would make no sense. Yeah, so you open it up, and yeah, it's a safety deposit room. It's like a miniature bookshelf basically. It's like a walk-in closet. You walk in, there's a bookshelf, and it has several scrolls within.
Now, in my memories, did it sound like I can actually physically take these from the room?
Correct.
I would gather them all up, place them within my... Oh, I don't really have much for... I don't have a backpack of any sort. I'm an ascetic.
Asceticism, biting you in the butt.
Wait, I've got fancier robes. I can probably fit things in my fancier robes.
Perfect.
Don't you also have a scroll case?
Oh, yeah.
Or scroll cases, rather?
Yes. Obviously, they'd go into there. I don't know what I was thinking.
Sounds solid.
I would relock the room, because that seems like the polite thing to do, even when I'm dealing with heretical organizations. Place the key gingerly back within its box, and head back towards the entrance until such time as I find the individual who gave me the box.
Sweet. He says, got everything you need?
Solemn nod.
He nods back, and we'll take the case from you. Or take the box. Alright, have a good day, sir.
And I would be trying to get out of there as quickly as I can without looking like I'm trying to get out of there quickly.
Alrighty, so we go back to Sai, who's talking to Umbayashi.
Have you been treated well? And as I ask this, I'm gonna kind of be like looking around, see if anyone A has noticed me talking to him, B what kind of like security this place has, like are there guards everywhere? What kind of shape Umbayashi is? Like, do I think he could like move about on his own?
Yeah, Umbayashi's a bushi, and he's always been pretty fit, so he looks very haggard and but he looks like he could probably move on his own. The security for this temple isn't extreme. It's just a few Sohi there, and they're mainly like practicing with each other in the courtyard right now. Nobody really seems to be paying attention to you talking to him.
What is holding the stalks closed?
Oh, there's like a cast iron locker of some sort.
I'm tempted to make a big power move that probably will backfire horribly.
He thinks this as he walks out into the courtyard.
See, this is what I'm thinking. I will say what I am thinking of doing out of character.
I don't... Okay, well, sure, if you feel so.
This is a terrible idea, but this is what Osako has in his head. He hasn't said who he is. He hasn't said what he's doing here. He just has simply shown that he has some sort of clearance here. So he's tempted to basically just be, I'm taking this match.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I want this man. I need an additional servant.
All right, roll a courtier for me.
I will void point to pretend I have a rank in that.
All right. TNF 20. Hey, 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 hey.
Good thing he's polite.
So the guard's like, what was your clearance again?
Starfall?
And he heads into the temple for a minute. And he comes back and he has a key that he unlocks Umbayashi with. Anything else I can help you gentlemen with?
Any of his personal effects, I will take his sword personally. For safekeeping.
Of course. 7 koku, 3 boo, a kimono, an on belonging to the Shiba family, 1 daisho, a head ornament, and so on and so forth. 1 lucky cricket.
I'll give like while this is happening, I'll like give him any sort of like trail rations or anything I might have just to try to help him build up his strength.
He eats eagerly. It's unseemly. You guys are embarrassed for him that he's like making a display of it. And with that, you guys are escorted outside the temple.
Out of character, quickly. Am I remembering incorrectly that we have had, and I will use quotes around this, Umabayashi with us since that incident?
That would be correct. In fact, if you look through your bag, or if Sai looks through his bag at this very moment, Umbayashi sent you guys a letter yesterday.
That is my main motivation for Asako very carefully trying to extricate this guy who is clearly Umabayashi. Because there's something not right here.
So as you guys are going down this trail that leads towards the temple, you see that there's a monk that's heading up the trail, and he has his hands on the shoulders of a woman. She's like heavily pregnant, and he's like very gently helping her up the kind of deep slope of the temple, and he's like, All right, dear, just a little bit further, and we'll have that baby on the way. And you guys are like, ugh, as you kind of pass by them.
I know what is happening, but there's nothing I can do to stop it without being potentially causing more calamity.
Mm-hmm. True horror.
I do have medicine 1. Perhaps I could. Oh, that's meditation.
I do have medicine 1, but we can't really make a fuss here. We have to get out of here as quickly as possible before they realize maybe we shouldn't have let that guy go.
I'm going to ask Umbayashi like a question regarding the first time we met.
Okay, what's the question?
Oh, I don't know. Something like, Umbayashi, do you recall the first time we met? Can you tell me about it?
We went to the Magistrate's Tower in Kudinasawa. We all met outside of it. I was the last one to arrive. I was late. We went upstairs, inspected the tower. Asako Gen was waiting for us upstairs. He said like 5 words to us, gave us a case file and left.
I have an additional question that might be even more clarifying.
Okay.
What unexpected meeting did we have before your disappearance?
That was a GM. Let's see.
Yeah, I know, because you're trying to put together the timeline now.
I was referring to the meeting with Dragon Samurai.
The meeting with what?
With the Dragon Samurai.
Ask the question one more time.
With whom did we meet unexpected on the way to the mountain?
Oh, okay. Miramoto Fong was up in the village. And he had the boy that didn't have any memories left.
I am relatively convinced that you are who you claim to be.
I agree, which also means you have not sent us any message in the last few days.
No, I've barely been out of the stocks for the last few months.
I fear greatly for the safety of Isawa Shigenko now. Do you suppose that the mission that Asako Yuri sent us on is much like the mountains?
I believe it is a possibility.
It is my dearest hope that he survives such a matter.
Of course. But there is nothing we can do about it now.
No, it is too far. We cannot reach them in time.
Do we have any way of getting word to Shujenko?
I haven't got the spell that's all fancy for that.
I'm surprised by how useful that spell would be in this campaign. So you guys finish up heading out the path, and you head out into the road of this busy little city. And across the street, there's a girl selling flowers, and there's a pottery shop right next door. And you guys kind of turn around, and up that wood-crested hill, just all the evil in the world. is sitting just like right next door to these common day people, and you guys are saddened by that. You guys head back towards the hill where Sheba Ryota is waiting faithfully for you guys to return. Undiscovered.
Excellent.
Oh, you picked up a friend.
Yes.
What's his name, Sai?
I do have a very strange idea of how we can get a message to Shevchenko.
What is it?
Okay, this is very convoluted. And I have to do it this way because I suck so badly with anything that isn't void. My thinking is, and I probably will have, no wait, I can use a void slot for that, but my thinking is I importune to get Nature's Touch, try talking to the biggest bird I can find to find this man far to the west, to the east. And fly to him.
Go.
Okay, I will probably fail the importune, but I will try this. Let me look at what I need to do to importune. Spellcraft importune with ring. So, spellcraft air. At a TN of 15 plus 5 per mastery level. So I have to do TN 20. So spellcraft air. I have air of 2, so I could just use my reflexes to stand in. So, TN 20. You know what? I have to go all in and void point basically every single roll, I think. Oh, I failed to importune the comic.
Looks like he'll have to rely on his own wits.
Yes. Unfortunately, the Kami of Air refused to speak with me.
Sad.
Unfortunately, the Kami of Air refused to speak to me. I cannot bring word to Shevchenko.
Well, then, he truly is on his own.
Yeah. So do you guys... Oh, my girlfriend's listening to the stream. Act cool. So you guys heading straight towards...
I have to ask now just how much you have specifically complained about me and my game-breaking ways to your girlfriend.
That's all they talk about. It's interrupted their lovemaking.
Oh.
Okay, well...
Am I the infamous Ken at this point?
She knows who you are.
Oh.
Yesterday we were watching Queer Eye, and one of them was talking about how they had a crush on Justin Trudeau. And I told her how you call him Prime Minister Handsome or something like that.
I can't remember what I called him, but I didn't mean it in a I did not mean it in a friendly way. It was derisive.
Yeah, she was like, oh, does she like him? Or does Ken like him? And I was like, I don't think Ken likes his politics.
No, I'm way left of that.
Yeah.
Way left of that.
So yeah. Are you guys heading straight towards Castle Sai, or I guess stop by Kyuden Isawa?
Stopping by Kyuden seems like a terrible mistake.
Yeah, we're going straight to the castle.
Fine. So you guys you cross the provinces, perhaps not in comfort, but surely in style. This ragtag bunch of folk.
While we're traveling, since we have a cart, I'd probably be sitting in the cart and reviewing the documents I received.
Okie doke. That wasn't good. So the history of Asako Yuri. She was a clan magistrate along with her sister. For all intents and purposes, according to these records, she did an excellent job. Was really helping defend the little guy. Her sister was a little bit better than her, and she got picked up by the Emerald Magistrates. So she went to work for the Emerald Champion, while Asako Yuri stayed in the homeland. According to this, at some point she was approached by the Blue Lotus, and so she started doing jobs for the conspiracy. And so it doesn't really go into detail about that, but eventually she got moved into the position of head magistrate, and then it has lots of documentation of her approving of witnesses being disposed of, or like magistrates transferred off of cases that interfered with the Blue Lotus and things such as that. There's documentation of her having Isawa Shojenko thrown in jail, and then the female magistrate, whose name I can't remember, her thrown in the same jail, basically. Just lots of stuff where you're like, ooh, if only this documentation mattered. But there's definitely enough of it. And like a lot of stuff has her signature on it. And so it seems like the conspiracy has been, collecting the stuff if she ever like turns against them. Because it's obviously like some very damning information. She's has people killed. If you're searching for the 6 magistrates, or the last Office 34, you don't see anything about a hit being called out on them. So, unfortunately, that bit of the puzzle is indeed missing. But it seemed like she was a star player until about a year and a half ago.
Can you say that again? A hit being called out on who?
Go ahead.
The mountain thing, there's nothing documenting that.
Oh, okay.
Seems like she was the star player for the conspiracy until her sister started looking into it, basically. Her sister worked under an Otomo, and that Otomo's name is familiar. So her sister basically got put in charge of investigating the disappearing children cases in the Phoeni-X lands. And apparently Yuri's like work started to deteriorate at that point. And then her sister was died of a heart attack, according to the records. And after that, Yuri started to work harder once more, until like in this last year, apparently she's done a lot of stuff that the conspiracy doesn't appreciate. And here we are.
I have a curious question.
Okie doke.
Is there any indication of the relative ages of Asako, Yuri, and her sister?
Give me 1 second to look through my notes. Ooh, I came so close to turning off the stream. That was close. I believe they're twins.
That is what I wondered exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're twins.
Interesting.
Hmm. Do you suppose that the Ronin you've met is actually the lost sister? You said that they look identical, did you not?
I did, and they do. But how would that explain the feeling I get? The feeling of lost breath.
I cannot explain that. There is one possibility. It is worth noting that all the faces that we have seen, oh, there is an exception, never mind. I thought to myself for a moment that only those who have disappeared have had their faces shown to others by possibly these glaciers. But that is not the case, considering our good friend here is alive.
That was an early concept for them.
I'll I'll turn to Umbayashi. At any point during your capture, your captivity, did you encounter these faceless men?
Yes, I have.
Can you speak of the encounter?
Well, they visited the temple often. One of them sat down in front of me, but he had a face. This memory isn't like blocked, so I can remember his face. He was a pale fellow with white hair, and he talked to me for quite a while. Yeah, they talked. Wait, I do remember something. They said something about preparing my sample for him to the guards, which I have no idea what that means.
So it would seem, Asako-san, that they must have some kind of possession or a part of anyone that they mimic.
That may very well be so.
Make a intelligence medicine roll for me.
Ooh. Okay, let me see here. I will void point this, as it seems important.
Your hand kind of drifts towards the big inoculation scar that you have from your first week as magistrates.
Oh my god, really?
His untrained roll is so good.
Yeah, meanwhile my trained roll was utter crap. Trained roll with a void, trained roll with a void point is crap.
Perhaps they have our samples.
That could very well be the case. But not Shajenko, interesting.
Shiba-san, I have, during your captivity, learned a technique which may be able to recall your memories. Do I have your permission to attempt it on you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So what was the roll for that? Was it just a meditation roll?
Yeah, avoid meditation. Tien of Turkey.
Ooh. I will... I'll avoid point this. Oh, wait, never mind. Yes.
Oh,
Whew.
Okay, campers.
no, I'm not the only one who's managed to do that to someone.
Yeah. Let me see here. Give me a brief moment to think, please. I really have to pee, but I'm gonna try to wrap the session up here in a minute. Okay, just so I, get a feel for it. In what instance are you trying to like unblock his memory? Sai, what's your perception on where his block is?
Just like from his captivity, like during the couple months that he was held captive, I guess. Do I need to be more specific than that?
No, that's fine. I was just wondering if it was from that or from when you guys were like hunting the boar, or what the juice was. Okay. So you let's see. I remember when I first got taken to the temple, they took me down to a room down in the bottom of the temple, and they kept me in a cell for a long time, and they interrogated me about what I knew about the Blue Lotus, and I was like, I don't know, you're corrupting kids. The classics. It was about this time. I don't know why I said that. While I was in the cell, he like describes the room for you, kid, and you're like, ooh, that's probably one of the rooms that was blocked off in that big hallway of the archive that you were in.
Indeed.
They started talking about Project Starfall. Hey. And that they would start locating, the damning documents about Magistrate Yuri. And then, there's one of them, Indrid, that was his name, Indrid. Mr. Sai, would you like to roll intelligence, straight intelligence for that? That was the name that the captain used for your sister, for the creature that was pretending to be your sister.
Oh, okay.
I remember through my cell I could see that at this moment it was two of the black, like the pale creatures talking to each other, and they said something about hiding the key to the Oracle in Project Starfall. look over at me and they see me looking at them and they're like, oh no. And then they approach me and it goes blurry.
The key to the oracle.
So I think as our last roll of the day, one of you should do a research roll on these documents.
What would that be?
What do you think it would be?
Lore theology?
More of like the act of going through papers.
Oh.
I'm looking right now too.
Investigation intelligence, I imagine.
Yeah, that sounds fine. Calligraphy with the emphasis of reading. I don't know.
Yeah. I can do that roll. Is this roll like during the duration of our trip?
Yeah.
So I'll have my void points back. So I'll double void point it.
Cool.
And I will take a single raise.
Very nice, very nice. Will you be rolling, Ken?
I'll try rolling it, but it's going to be a terrible roll.
I just didn't want you to feel left out.
I have to say.
I explode 50 times.
Oh, you beat me. I have to say that Shiba Ancestor is really worth the points.
He's doing work.
I mean, the ultimate thing now I've considered if you're playing a Phoenix might be to have Shiba as an ancestor and the all lore one.
Yeah, but the thing with the all lore one is it seems like you only want one person in the party to have it, right?
Yeah, true. It's basically to cover the gaps that the rest of the party can't do.
Exactly.
So you are like, this woman's has been sneaking into my house, and that's rude. I want to look into this. Also, you know, that thing about the key to the oracle. So on these scrolls, they also have like scribbling in the margin, basically. And like there's like 7 scrolls, and each of them only have like a little bit of the text on it. But once you kind of like overlap them in some intricate way, you actually get like a full explanation. And it's basically telling you that in the within the organization, there's a member who has basically a mental documentation of all the events that the conspiracy has undergone and like all its members, and that this person's like their record keeper, basically. So they asked them, I'm not sure if I should explain it that deeply. Oh well, I've already started. Basically, this individual is like, they put all the information into them, and then they have someone who they can just go to and ask a question about the conspiracy, which is pretty intricate and has many layers of deniability on it, and they'll just like have the answer. So this person exists, but they're kept in a state where they're not a threat to the conspiracy itself. Whatever that means. So, Office 34, if you want to take down the conspiracy before the court, you must find this individual. And you're like, gross, that was addressed to us. These things are nasty.
Interesting. Okay.
And with that, Lady Amaterasu rises on the east, over the ocean, and behind the castle of Sai, a brilliantly new constructed palace slash castle fort. It's a Phoenix fort, so it's a palace. Dedicated to one of Rokugan's greatest living heroes, as you guys arrive with an artifact of unknown origin and power. Come to ask Sai's grandfather for protection. Is that the gist of it?
Sure. I assume he's probably not even at the castle, because he has like his duties to attend to, right?
Well, Winter Court is like in 1 month, so he's.
Oh, okay.
He's prepping for having the whole clan over.
Oh, he's having, so like the big Winter Court is at his castle.
Well, the Phoenix Winter Court, at least.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
All right, and I think that's where we'll leave our session for today.
Awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Everybody gets 5 XP.
Yay!
Yippee skippy.
So, did you guys enjoy that session? I feel good about it, but did my players enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really cool. The stuff on the boat was really fun. I liked the little bit of action. That was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Sweet. Glad you did.
That is. I really, really, really did like the weird water stuff.
Thanks. For some reason I watched something about UFOs or USOs, and I was like, man, that'd be such a creepy session. So I was so happy when you guys like blew the lantern out of the sky, and I was like, oh my god, I can do it. So I'm glad as the everything begins to unravel and the campaign approaches its final arc. That was the end of season 2.
I still extremely fear for Shijenko. He is not in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's fine. The GM isn't going to kill him when he's not here, would they?
That'd be tight. No. I've always wanted to kill a player without like any roles, and just be like, the story demands you die, but I don't have the balls for it.
Well, when it's like at the end of a campaign, I've had people do that, like in the kind of closing when he kind of gives like an epilogue. I've had GMs do that.
I think the worst thing I've ever done as a GM is either, let's see, I spent an entire session torturing Ken, which I still feel bad about, and then Ken was also around for
And
this.
I was tangled afterward. I had the limb problem. I was even further disfigured than I was before. I was not in good shape.
And then there was C. Hatake, who spent like 3 sessions making a sword. And as soon as he got it done, the daimyo took the sword and broke it and told him to start over. I thought that was pretty fun.
The worst I ever did, so when I was in high school as a dungeon master, and I'd never played before, I just borrowed a copy of a book of the player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons. I read it, and when I borrowed it, I was like, this is going to be dumb, but my friend wanted me to read it because he wanted to play. and I was like, this is gonna be terrible. But then I was reading it, and I was like, this is awesome. And so my friend, after I read it, didn't want to play anymore, so I had to bring in other friends. So I was like playing, and like I had no experience. I just sort of knew what the book had told me to do. And the older books were pretty cutthroat. I don't know if you recall some of this stuff. So this was second edition, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So it was still TSR. It was before Wizards of the Coast bought him. And at one point, I remember one of my high school friends, he started dating a girl, so he didn't have as much time to play with us anymore. So he was basically like, he had missed a bunch of sessions in a row. He was a necromancer. He had missed a bunch of sessions in a row, so he's just like, okay, I'm not going to play anymore. Like, I just can never make it. So he called us up. He called me up at our friend's house while we were playing to phone in him attacking all the other characters in the party with the powerful magical artifact the party had.
Wow.
And he killed like half the party. And I let this happen, which obviously, looking back on it, I should have never let happen, because it's like, if you want to try to kill half the party, at least have the balls show up. But
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, it's past my bedtime.